So I'm just going to take you through what happened this morning, right? So sometimes you might do your whole analysis and, the market will still mess you up, right? So I took a sell here, then I saw this area. I'm like, okay, if you plot this, I think from here to here, right? Yeah, from here, from this high to this low, this is the 50% retracement level, right? So like, you know what? Let me wait for another entry here. Okay. So the market got here, I added to the entry to drive back down here. But what happened? Yeah, the market sold, of course, go to this point, step five. So my SL was at 4.3, right? Just above. My SL was at 4.3. Then this is 5 minutes time frame. So it came, sold. But what I saw it was in was it was busy respecting this zone, right? It was busy respecting this zone. And after a while, it hit 4.1. That's 4.341. And give a higher low. I've seen this. It gave it gave a higher low. This was to signal a buy move, right? This was to signal a buy move, right? So he did this, took me out, of course. Now that he has taken me out, what you are seeing here now is an uptrend, yeah? A high, a lower high. Okay, no. A high, a lower high, a a a higher high, a higher low rather, then a higher high, right? So like, you know what? Okay. No, I think it's time to go in for a buy. I got in here. I always wait for a very good setup, right? If you check this point to this point, right? With the Fibonacci 50%, this is a good entry for a buy. So I got in here once again. And this Fibonacci and good support, having my SL way, way down here to avoid stories, right? Then what happened? Market came here, played around, bought a little bit. Then, in fact, in the buy itself, I think he came to respect this inverse FVG right here. And of course, I woke up to an SL, right? That's already taking me out. So sometimes, right, the market you can see it's giving different things at the same time. So right now, it has given this same move, right? Came, respected this FVG here. But I don't want to enter again because you can see enter and decide to make another move. So I'm just showing you what I passed through this morning. So I had set, looking at this FVG as well, I had set a sell entry at 4.334 around this area. But this area will make more sense on the 15 minutes time frame, right? I set a sell limit here. So let me switch to 15 minutes time frame so you see how it is. So on the 15 minutes time frame, this is an FVG basically also, right? And the FVG is still valid, right? So if I'm to plot the exact FVG bar, it is this. So I expect the market I expect the market to tap into this area before dropping. But is he doing that? I don't know. I think he's just resetting this first fair value gap here and he's tanking aggressively. So my point is that sometimes you can do everything right and still be wrong, right? So the only bad thing I did here was that my plan is only to take one trade Like every midnight trade here, just one trade here. If it doesn't go well, I leave it. Then wait for my normal morning session, right? But I took one, took another, right? So, and this has already impacted my account. These two losses, they were much, right? But that's just it. That's just the market, and that's just it, right? And it's simply following the flow, right? So it will be crazy of me. Now, if I want to take any sell here, and I want to take a sell, even for just this point, right? That's roughly 10 points, right? But it's so though it makes sense. This is like a support, right? Market will hit a this is a support that was broken. So I expect, in fact, if not for anything, I expect the market to come back to this area to keep selling if it wishes to, right? But right now, I'm just gonna chill and wait and see what state he has for us, right? But however, it is my main target point. Now, what I was aiming for at first was this, right? What I was aiming for at first was this. Let me show you. So this was Monday, this is yesterday, and this is today, right? So somehow I was like, okay, since Monday was a bullish day, but that was a strong rejection towards the end of the day, right? This is Tuesday. Tuesday was bullish as well, but that was a strong rejection that closed almost at the 50% level, right? For Monday, for Tuesday. Then this is Wednesday. This is today. I was like, you know what? Okay, today has to be bearish, right? But I expect is a move at least, right? So the market made the move, but I didn't expect it to get this high. And that's the point, right? I was expecting a sell, but I didn't expect it to get this high. So I thought, okay, so I'm just sharing my thoughts with you like this now. So I thought if it's going to get this high, all right, if it's going to get this high, that means it should totally clear off yesterday's high. That's four, you can see it here, 4355. If you just break 4355, then continue selling. But as you can see now, this is daily time frame, yeah. It got very close to yesterday's high and now pushing towards yesterday's low. So if you think if you check the TP I'm looking at for the sell, yeah, it has 4306. That's yesterday's low. We still have this whole gap to be filled anyway. We still have this whole gap. This is Friday, Monday gap. It has not been filled yet, right? Remember that day you were like, good, we've filled the gap. I told you, it doesn't always happen that way. So these days I'm experiencing the market taking longer time for gaps to close. This was the gap. This was a Wednesday gap, right? This happened last week, right? Before this whole push, I was able to catch a buy down here. I was able to catch a buy down here, but aiming for this place to aiming 4268 as my TP, but I couldn't just hold to that trade. I closed along the way, so many things, but that's about that. So if you look at this, there's a high potential for this whole gap to be filled, right? But the main thing now is jumping in at the right time, right? And these moments here can serve as the right time, right? So one particular thing here you can also see is that, let me mark. I think I'll see delete it anyway. This place low key has always been, the market hasn't, you can see for the past, since last week Monday. to this very Monday, market hasn't closed above this zone. So low key, this area is a strong resistance. Now let me make it more clear so you can see. So this is the highest point the market got to on this time frame, and this is the lowest point, right? So let me draw my Fibonacci from this point to this point. Are you seeing something? Let me mark out the zone. We are working on this is the daily time frame we are talking about here. So the interesting thing is that sometimes that's what we have to always look at for all of this. The interesting thing is that on the daily time frame here, the market is actually within like a confirmed sell zone, right? We're in a sell zone, like the sell zone that is going to sell aggressively to take out this low. We're in a sell zone, right? And the main thing is that when can you get that perfect sell entry to ride this ride, right? So I think we've gotten that out. We're in a strong sell zone. Yeah, we're in a strong sell zone. Let me delete this one too. So let's go back to, I think we should be here, right? So this whole range here is just I'll be talking to myself are all sell zones, right? All sell zones. Okay. Paul, Paul. Yeah. Good morning, Paul. So I was talking about something before you came in, right? So, what was it? Mr. Emmanuel, Coach Noel, right? So I was talking about this whole zone, yeah, and sell zone. So the most important thing now is to get a perfect entry to sell, right? So Paul, um, you are you're a beginner, right? I just want to confirm because I've not actually seen you on the call before. This is the first time.
Yes, yes.
Okay, amazing. All right. So let me switch up to because I was waiting for um okay. So I'll rush through. Yeah, we are down this is like 20 minutes already. Right. So the most important thing is understanding. Leave whatever line you're saying here, just just ignore it, yeah. So first thing first is to understand why the markets behave the way they behave, right? Um, so what you do
Okay.
here basically is so you cannot meet yourself. You can meet yourself now. So what you do here basically is we buy and sell. That's all. It's not like crypto that you have to wait for bull run or whatever run, yeah. Here, whatever opportunity the market presents to us, will take advantage. If you're telling us buy, we buy at this point. If you're saying us sell, we sell. All right. So now the most important thing now is now to know the key points to take these buys. That's what trading is all about. Yeah. When should I actually take that sell? When should I actually take that buy? All right. So let's start with currency pairs. Understanding this is gold. Gold is a commodity, yeah, that you can trade. We have other asset classes. We have indices, like we have like the Nasdaq. This is a stock indices, right? This is basically I think top 100 tech companies, right, in the US. We have we have this under asset class indices as well, top 40 companies in Germany, right? Then these are the normal currency pairs. So Forex sometimes, yeah, just for you to know, right? We call everything Forex trading, but someone that trades gold mainly, it's not actually a Forex trader, yeah? It's more like a commodity trader, yeah, trades metals basically, right? Forex are Forex is basically foreign exchange, right? Now these are purely foreign exchange. The Euro USD, USD JPY, the currencies, those are like the pure um foreign exchange markets, right? Then if indices are different things altogether, these are like stocks, right? Stock indices. So they are different. We also have what's it called? Oil. We have those that trade some agricultural materials like cotton. Yeah. So, but let's not deep dive into all those ones. Let's focus on what we have here. So Euro USD. All right. So what it simply means here, if you decide to buy Euro USD right now, what it means is that you are buying one currency and selling the other, right? So for Euro USD, you are buying the base currency and selling the other. So what you are saying is that I think Euro will gain against the dollar for the next 1 hour or for the next 15 minutes, right? If you're selling, if you decide to sell Euro USD right now, what you're saying is that you're 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 looking at um USD gaining, you're looking at USD gaining against the euro, right? So another thing you need to do here on your trading view, look up DXY. DXY is the dollar index, right? This shows you the real chart of the US dollar, right? So if the US dollar is losing strength or if the US dollar is selling, right? Any pair against the US dollar will be doing the opposite. So let us look at this is Tuesday, 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Let me get a horizontal line so I just want to show you something, right? This is 7 o'clock on Tuesday, right? What happened that very day? The markets dropped aggressively for like number of times, right? So let us look at Euro USD on Tuesday, 7 o'clock, same time. Euro USD, Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Are you seeing this? So right here, as USD was dropping in value, Euro was gaining against dollar. It was buying. Are you seeing the difference? So once you understand this, it actually helps you. So let's check USD JPY. USD JPY has USD as the base currency, right? So if you're buying USD JPY, you're also saying that, okay, USD is gaining in strength. So let us check the same thing, 7 a.m. on Tuesday. It's Tuesday, 7. Okay, this is a little different, but you can say that overall, the market still tilted upwards, right? If we check AUD USD, okay, no, overall, no, wait, USD JPY. Yeah, by 7, yeah, the market sold, just like we have on DSY. Yeah, 7 p.m. it sold USD JPY. And I need to be switching through these currencies very fast. It's sold too. If I try to check AUD USD, same time, 7 a.m. on Tuesday morning. See, it bought. Right. So any currency you are trading against the dollar at any time, you're buying that currency and you're selling the dollar. Right. So what the candle pair anatomy, right? So in this case, in this very case, AUD USD, you can see here, Australian dollar and US dollar. Australian dollar is the base currency. USD is the put, right? So the important one, just like I said earlier, is if the base currency is getting stronger, the quote is getting weaker, right? So if AUD is pushing up, just know that USD automatically is pushing down. All right. But you cannot say the same for, let's say, BTC USD, just because no, this is a crypto and it has its mechanism is way it's just different, right? You are talking about currency right now. And you cannot say same thing for um gold, because you're seeing SAU USD. No, it doesn't, it works low key, but not always like that. Yeah. So, but let's check it out and actually see. Um, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock on a Tuesday, 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Low key, you can see almost same thing. Low key, 7 o'clock on Tuesday. You can see it pushed up actually. It pushed up low key. So what we can see sometimes, yeah, it still plays out, right? So, well, it's one thing I will say, yeah, so long the pair is tied to USD, the effect is always there. That's why high impact news affects all of this. High impact news on USD affects all of this, right? So let's go back to what we are talking about. So I don't deviate. Um, so like I said, if the base currency in this case, which is the Australian dollar, if it gains in strength, the US dollar loses strength, right? So I was talking about okay, then the tug of war analogy. You ask what's tug of war, right? Now think of currency pairs like tug of war. These are two currencies dragging which one to gain in strength. The gold, sorry, I said gold. The US dollar is trying to push down, trying to gain against um AUD. AUD is trying to gain against the dollar, right? Now, if if let's use this very scenario here. Yesterday, 7 a.m. If the AUD, right, is stronger, the price goes up, right? You're looking at AUD USD right now. If AUD is stronger, the price goes up. If if USD gets stronger, the price goes down. So you can say that simply that from 7 a.m. to 11:30, or let's say to 12 p.m. on Tuesday, AUD was so strong. And from 12 to 1 p.m., gold gained a little, right? Was able to push the price down, right? So anytime you see any of this happening, just understand what is happening behind closed doors, right? So this is basically how the market moves, right? So the buyers are pushing up and the sellers are pushing the market down, right? So anyone trading AUD USD that wants the price to go down is selling, is simply you are either buying AUD or you're selling it. If you're selling AUD, you're automatically buying dollar. You know, all those technologies can be confusing, but just Understand it, right? Now, the next thing are trends, retracements, right? Now, all these movements, they get to, in general, bring about what we call trends. And trends actually help us to trade the markets, right? So if you look at this from this point to this very point, what can you say? How do we determine trend? Okay, I'll ask a question. I'll just draw something and ask a question. Okay, Mr. Paul, what trend is this? Listen, I drew here. Can you tell?
Downtrend.
Soft, amazing, right? So if you can be able to spot any of this, you're good. So looking at this particular chart right now, I think it makes more sense. It makes more sense here before this one happened. Looking at this particular one here, I can tell that, okay, the market moved, gave a low, gave a lower high, gave a much lower high, gave, can call this a lower high, gave a lower low, lower high, lower low. Then, of course, gave a higher high, higher low, then like that, like that, like that. So if you're able to spot any of this, you're good to go. Right. So the simple thing is, once in a downtrend, look for sell ideas only. Once in an uptrend, look for buy ideas. Now, there are other types of charts that can be confusing. And one good example is gold, right? I use gold as a perfect example. I use gold as a perfect example. Look at this right now. Can you tell? Looking at this, can you tell where this one? Let me just remove this. To decipher the trend here can be quite confusing, right? You don't
Yeah.
just know where the market is going to, right? You just don't know. You just there, like just there, right? Okay, you can say, okay, this is a downtrend. Okay, I have a high, I have a low, I have a lower high. Then in turn, I have a higher low, then a lower high, a higher low, then a high. It's confusing. So once you see yourself in this kind of market condition, let's see, sometimes we call this consolidating. Now, if you look at this, the market has been ranging within this zone for the longest time, right? If you look at this is a broad zone. Market has been ranging within this zone. It has not left this zone, right? For the longest time. So once you see this kind of markets, leave it. If you can't determine the trend on the chart you are trying to analyze, let it be, all right? If you can't determine the trend, let it be, all right? If you can't determine the trend, let it be. So the next thing is mm, look, I've talked about sideways markets, right? So for retracements are basically, so let's use this particular move here as we have a high, we have a low. Okay, let me take it down to 5 minutes so it will make more sense. We have a high, you have a low, we have a high, you have a low, we have a high, you have a low. All those new highs, yeah, those are retracements, right?
Yeah.
Sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, then of course maybe another sell. Now, you are looking at this on a 5 minutes time frame. If you meet this very move on a 1 minute time frame or a lower time frame, you say, this market is an uptrend because it's building upwards. But if you look at it at a higher time frame, you see that this was just a temporal pullback, right? It's became an uptrend here, temporary, just to fully retrace for the sell to continue. And right here does the same thing for the sell to continue. And right here does the same thing for the sell to continue. Right? In this case, this is like an upward movement, but this is a little retrace, but a little retrace, but right? So if you see this, let's say that's why sometimes if you're doing an analysis from a higher time frame, my time will soon be up. Well, retracements, why they matter is that um they help you find better entries. So in this case, you don't want to, let's say you want to sell. Let me delete this. Retracement happens because instead of you selling at this price, you wait for the market to get to a better price for you to sell, right? Wait for the market to get to a better price for you to sell. Okay. So, and the market never moves in a straight line. So that's another thing. The market never moves in a straight line. So I think I've covered majorly what I need to cover before the session ends. So basically, what we've gotten from this session is that currency pairs, different asset classes, indices, crypto, commodities, yeah, currencies. Then um, understanding the trends, upward trends, downtrends, sideways markets, right? Then of course,
Yeah.
retracement, how to spot good retracement zones and take advantage of them. Right, how to spot good retracement zones and take advantage of them. So I have one assignment for you. Yeah. Open your charts. Pick any pick any pair of your choice. Right? Any pair of your choice. Spot on any time frame, basically. Spot either a downtrend or an uptrend. Right? Either a
Okay.
downtrend or an uptrend. Either downtrend, uptrend, or sideways markets. Pick either of that. Then maybe on our next session, you can I'll ask about it. All right. If you're able to spot this, then you're good to go. Yeah, you're good to go. So that's it for today on the session, right? So tomorrow has to be for the SMC class, right? So tomorrow we'll focus more on SMC. I had today was supposed to be SMC, but since I wasn't available yesterday, we had to do our normal beginners training today, right? So tomorrow I expect to see you on the call still. Right? It gets better and it gets better. And I believe you got something from this call.
Yes, definitely.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. All right. So all the best. I'll drop the recorded session, right? I'll drop the recorded session so that you can still go through it. All right. All right. All the best, yeah. All the best.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.